Hello again, change makers. We are back for another fun week of interviewing where we are celebrating change makers from all over the world. And it looks like from my calendar this week, we're back in the US this week, which is a beautiful thing. And we're so excited to have with us our guest from Houston, Texas today, Miss Jeanne. Hello, Jeanne. Welcome.
Hi, Cheyenne. How are you? Hi,
I
everybody.
am
Nice to see you.
I'm doing great, and we're so glad to have you here with us. So please tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do and what makes you so amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a mother of 5, grandmother of 6, and I'm an Ayurvedic doctor, yoga instructor, meditation, and I like to help people, but mostly women, find their voice. Take a journey of self-discovery with inside themselves and find out what's holding them back. Find out what their soul is calling for them to do and what their purpose should be. So, yeah, that's kind of like in a nutshell what I like to do. Besides,
Awesome.
a plethora of hobbies, to do. I mean, I love to work with my hands, so I do a lot of other things as well, but these are my main things.
Gotcha. Well, let's see if we can crack open that nutshell a little bit further. So, for people who might not be all that familiar with Ayurvedic medicine, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So Ayurveda is actually translated into the science of life. It's a Indian system that's been in place for over 5,000 years. And it's not only just a holistic care with plant medicines, or just it's not just for Indian people or just for Hindus. It's for everybody because it is a science of life. It incorporates the mind, the body, and the spirit, how to have a more positive mind. But when you have health, when you have very good health or better health, and how you can help your gut health to help your brain health, to help the entire portion of your life to be just amazing, and how to find the joy of the spirit within you. And so that's kind of what Ayurveda does. We get into the root cause of what's going on, not just giving medications for a symptom, but we get into the root cause of everything. And
Wow.
it can go back. And what we usually do is go back as far as the childhood to see if there's any trauma, any experiences, anything that could have seeded itself into your subconscious, which has now caused um, physical issues. Because when we withhold our emotions or anger or anything else, it develops into dis-ease, and it can take years. So we like to go back as far as the childhood. And so a consultation for me usually lasts about an hour, hour and a half. And then
Gotcha.
we look into what we can do through food and, through maybe using some herbs. Looking at even kitchen spices can be amazing to help some things. And so that's what Ayurveda is all about, the yoga, because the yoga as we know it today is not just an exercise. It's a mind body connection with the breath.
Mm,
And so
interesting.
when we can move with our breath and do it in an intentional way, it now connects our mind and body together. So
Hmm.
it's a science of everything all in one. It's
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Amazing. So, how did you get introduced to that whole practice?
Long story, but I was in a yoga studio here. I did Kundalini first, and I came here in a yoga studio in Houston, and the young girl that was the receptionist was doing some homework, and I asked her what she was doing. And she said she was learning Ayurveda, which I had learned through my Kundalini teacher, a little bit about Ayurveda. And when I went for yoga teacher training, they were teaching a little bit about Ayurveda. And then they asked me to teach what I knew because I had already taken a class. So I decided that, and I was already doing holistic health. So I decided that Ayurveda was something that I really wanted to get into because I love plants. I love herbs. I love collecting plants and finding out what kind of, what a dandelion does for you, or finding out what cinnamon can do for you, and the benefits from it, and so I decided that this is what I want to do. I want to get into this so I can treat people holistically, because I've always felt like our medical system has not done justice to our health.
Agreed. Agreed. Wow. Can you give people an example of someone that you've helped, and what kind of challenge were they facing, and how were you able to assist?
Okay, well, I can give you of my husband. He was going through heart disease. He was borderline diabetic. He had high cholesterol, all of these things. And through Ayurveda, just treating him with medicinal herbs and changing a little bit of the way that he was eating, we got him off the metformin for blood sugar, because the metformin was causing his liver to fail. So we got him off the metformin. Through easy kitchen herbs, we got him off of the cholesterol medication. And now the only medication that he really takes is for his blood pressure. But there's even something that we can incorporate into that to get him off of the blood pressure medication. But we just never really got into the switch over. So, and I have a current client right now that's 72 years old, and she's got renal failure, and she's had it for 35 years.
Mm.
And
Wow.
she's been dealing with it. And now she's on the list to get a kidney transplant, but she was almost going towards having dialysis all the time, and she didn't want to do that. So we met through a mutual friend 2 years ago. And here 2 years later, she reached out to my friend and she said, I remember you have a friend that's an Ayurvedic practitioner. Can you give her my name and number so she can help me, or see if she can help me? Because her blood work and all of her, labs were showing that she was going to have to go for dialysis.
Ugh.
Through her diet, changing her diet, and through a few herbs, we've kept her out of dialysis for the last 8 months now.
Yes. Awesome. 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 I love it when people can share something a little bit specific, because I think so many people just they don't even have an awareness of the fact that our bodies really were built to be able to heal when we give it what it needs.
Yes.
It's like, and I feel your frustration with Western medicine. I mean, they're very good at diagnostics.
Yes.
And, if you're in an accident and you're in pain, okay, they can do some pretty miraculous stuff, and God bless them for doing that. But oh my God, the fact that they treat our bodies like it's something that's broken that needs to be fixed with a chemical all the time, it's like, I don't buy that.
No, me neither. And they treat our body as if it's cut and dissected into pieces and parts,
Yes.
and our
Yes.
body is not meant to operate separately. It's always meant to operate as one whole entity,
There you go.
and to have a cardiologist and a gastroenterologist and all of these things, I just feel like if you could do this in a cohesive way where you can treat these things all together as one operating part,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not machines,
No,
you know?
no,
And
definitely not.
when you try to fix one thing that causes another problem somewhere else, and then you got to try to fix that other problem, and then it's just a plethora of 10 to 20 pills that people are taking a day. And I know several people that are taking 10 to 20 pills
Oh yeah.
for different things and for side effects. And I just feel like this is it's going and getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if we're a little bit more dedicated and we really want a better health and a better lifestyle, that just changing some of our eating habits can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. Well, and on the purpose side of the fence, because I know you're very passionate about that as well too. So you were always involved in Ayurveda. So what were you doing in a previous life that led you to make this shift?
Oh, okay. Well, my life actually was being brought up in the restaurants. I mean, I spent 40 years in the restaurant industry.
Wow.
Um, and So when my first granddaughter was born, as I told you, I wanted to be able to be the best grandma ever. And I wanted to be able to be present for my grandchildren and for my morals and values to be instilled in them instead of somebody else's. So I quit my job and started babysitting my grandchildren. With that, I had to find a different way of making making myself money, which I thought was going to be through real estate. So this is a whole long story, but I'm going to make it very short. Started off with real estate. Real estate got me into Think and Grow Rich, which got me into Neuro Gym with John Assaraf, and then Mind Valley with Vishen Lakhiani. And then it just started this whole mind body thing from that. And I've never really liked going to the doctor. So working holistically has always been my thing. Um, my grandmother used to make dandelion wine, and it was just something that I just loved as a child. I loved plants, and I always wanted to learn more about
Mm,
what these plants could do for the health. So,
mm,
so I just started going holistically and taking care of myself because I didn't like the way that I was looking. I didn't like the way I was thinking. I didn't like where I was at mentally or physically. And so I knew I had to make a change to make myself a better person, the person that people wanted to be around, not the person that people were like, oh shit, here she comes again. I want to get away from her.
oh no.
I wanted to be that person that people love to be around like I used to as a
Yeah.
teenager, as a young adult. And so I knew I had to make a change, and that was part of it. It was through herbs, through finding myself, through journeys, through uh, fixing my own mental health and my own physical health, that I could
Mm,
find myself and
mm.
let go of the masks and just be who I am. And that's kind of where my journey started. And Ayurveda was just a part of it.
I love it. I love it. Well, congrats on making it through all those things that you had to go through to get to where you are now, because yeah, I've been through a lot of that too. And we know right now we are on a very transitional time period on this planet. There's a lot of people who are trying to figure out what in the world, what's going on in the world and what's going on within them, right?
Oh yeah, and the planetary positioning is just something that hasn't been in effect in like decades or maybe
Or more, yeah.
centuries.
So true. So true. Well, I'm always curious to find out. So, do you have any big visions for the future that you could imagine yourself doing 5 or 10 years down the road?
Yeah, I mean, my vision is to create a retreat center
Mhm.
and a self-sustaining retreat center that can, help the elderly, because right now I'm going through some issues with my sister being in a healthcare facility, which is not great.
Mm.
Um, and the care that she's getting, having stage 4 cancer and not being able to walk around much, is really horrendous.
Mm.
And so I've always had this vision of creating a retreat center where I could have it self-sustaining, where it could house the elderly and also help, troubled teenagers come together, where they could learn together, where the elderly could actually find purpose in this latter stage of their life with the wisdom and stuff that they have, and where
Mhm.
the teenage kids or the young kids that really need that love and nurturing could find a safe space
Mhm.
to find out who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, to teach youngsters really, um, how to live life and
Yeah.
how to get through the hard parts of our lives, and to understand that all of these parts are necessary to
Yes.
become the better version of ourselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's all just a learning lesson if you just surrender to the learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many people share your vision. That's part of what my business activity is all about, is working to bring those people of like mind and like vision together, because we've been too siloed. We've been too separated for too long. And it's time for people to find each other. And it's when you bring like-minded people together who've got a similar vision, you build the energy around that, and now you can start to have more of a group creation process that can happen more easily and more effectively than just all of us sitting in our little silos thinking we got to do it all by ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, really, there's nothing better than unity, and that's why I like this community so much, is
Awesome.
because together we can thrive,
We can,
and
yes, as
when we're
Tammy always
separate,
says,
we
together we
yes,
rise, right?
yes. When we're separate and we feel like we're all alone and lost, that's when we start going in the wrong directions.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. Wow. Okay. Well, definitely, I'm going to send you an invitation to our next upcoming event, where we're going to try to bring people together and find who are some of these people who have some similar vision, because I know that when we bring those people together, things are going to start to happen. It's going to percolate. And I get really excited about that idea. So, uh,
Me too.
I,
Yes, this retreat center has been on my mind for many, many years, and, yeah, it's been part of my manifestation processes, and I know it's gonna happen. It's just all within
it
divine
is.
timing.
Yes, yes, that's it. And sometimes we get impatient, we yell at the universe and say, I want patience and I want it now. Doesn't work very well.
I've learned to cultivate patience.
Yes, it's a much healthier way to go, without a doubt. Oh my goodness. Well, if our folks here in the group, if they're listening in, how can they reach you? How can they find you? I understand you're getting ready to launch a group of your own as well.
I am getting ready to launch my group that'll be called Radiant Soul Journeys, because I've been on several journeys now. And so I feel like this self-discovery journey is so important. So Radiant Soul Journey, so you can look out for that on Facebook. Otherwise, I am on Facebook as Jeanne Chilson, and on Instagram is Chill's Journey. And I'll be getting my YouTube channel going. I have one that's called Sacred Gardens.
Nice.
And because I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and I love plants.
Yes, makes perfect sense.
And how sacred are plants? You know, we just don't understand how sacred the plants are and how much benefit that they have, because we just don't have that in us. I mean, dandelions, something that people pull out of the ground on a daily basis and just throw away, has so much medicinal power to it.
Wow.
And here's a really good tip for people. The plants that are weeds that can grow no matter what are the most medicinal plants that we have.
Oh, wow. Creator knew what he was doing, right?
Yes. And it's all right in front of our faces and we just ignore them.
Oh my God, that
How
is cool.
amazing is
It
that?
makes perfect sense.
Yes. Because so many weeds are so medicinal and we just don't know it. We just have
Wow.
no idea. Clover, it's really, really good for replacing estrogen.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things out there that we just take for granted and throw away that we really don't realize.
Oh, I could picture you need to do a class just on that. The weeds you shouldn't be throwing away.
I have an ebook that I'm creating that's going to be kitchen herbs. So here's another few words of wisdom for people that have high cholesterol. Mix cinnamon with honey, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon per teaspoon of honey. Take that every day and it will get rid of your cholesterol issues.
Wow, that even sounds like it tastes good.
It does. And it's even a replacement for sugar cravings. So,
wow.
There's so many things that you can do with just kitchen herbs.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to learning some of these tips and tricks that you got up your sleeve. So hopefully some of our other folks here in the group will be interested as well. So that was a pretty good tip about the weeds. Is there anything else you'd like to leave everybody with before we say goodbye?
Always find the thing that makes you the happiest, because that's your soul purpose. Whatever makes your heart sing is what you're meant to do.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that truth. I believe it completely. And that is part of my prayer for the world, is that more people stop sitting on their own unique puzzle piece to creating health, wealth, and peace on earth, and get busy building it. Yeah. We will be so much better off.
Oh, yes, we would.
Well, thank you for being with us today, Jeannie, and thanks all of our change makers for tuning in. We'll see you in the next interview. Until then, have an amazing, awesome day, everybody.
Bye.